I'm gonna be honest. I knew I loaded into a night raid. I didn't expect it to be darker than the deepest parts of Satan's ass in this place. What in the actual? It is one of the darkest rooms I've ever seen in my life. I feel like I'm going blind just trying to see this. All right. Anyway, not important. Not what we're here to talk about today. What we're here to talk about today is actually new arc threats, because we're getting a new arc threat in February, in March, and we're getting a new large arc in April. That by itself has me extremely excited because the arc are one of my favorite parts of this entire game. So, with that being said, let's just get right into it and let me try and not get spotted by everything while I'm out in the open. Anyway, yeah. First of all, the thumbnail was actually kind of just a joke. I was kind of just throwing something together to kind of get the point across and maybe be a little funny. I don't really know how that'd be funny. Doesn't matter. What does matter is the fact that we have hornets and fireballs. The fireballs, I think most of us would say, are primarily indoors, even though they'll come outside. And hornets, primarily outside, but they'll come indoors. I actually think, especially indoors, we could really use a more common effect when it comes to the stun effect. We have stun effects from the hornets on the outside, and they can come indoors, but I think it would actually add a decent change to the gameplay to not just have to deal with fire and explosions, ticks, turrets, all this stuff inside, but give us a threat that actually has a stun effect inside too. I think those are different things that we have in this game already that we can flesh out. The stun effects, the gas effects, the fire effects, all of these things. We can explore taking those effects into new areas. While we're on this topic, I also don't think it would be a terrible idea to put a flamethrower on top of a flying arc. That would probably not be a terrible idea either. Now, with that being said, do I think we should put a flamethrower on a armored flying arc like a hornet? That might be a little bit OP, because a flamethrower can deal a lot of damage very quickly. The thing about a fireball and why it's designed well is because if you time it right and wait and take the opportunity when it presents itself, it doesn't take a lot of damage to the inside of it. The outside can take a lot of damage, but it's very squishy once it actually opens up. That makes me think if you were going to put a flamethrower on a flying arc, you would probably want something like a wasp? Because if it was a hornet, you would really need to take that thing out very quickly. A hornet with a flamethrower would be absolutely terrifying. A wasp with a flamethrower would be a threat, but it wouldn't be a ridiculous threat, which none of the small arc are ridiculous threats. They're kind of just there to be a threat. Anyway, enough of the game balance part of it. I do think it would actually be a pretty fun addition. A flying flamethrower and a rolling stun ball. And really, especially for the stun ball, you really could make it a fireball, but just with stun turrets. Instead of just opening up from the front, you could take the two side circles that are literally already on a fireball and have those open up when it stops and actually gets its aim. See ya, loser. Anyway, yeah, fireballs already have to stop and kind of get that lock on you and then open up. It can take a similar amount of time, but just instead, two turrets pop out the side and shoot little stun shots, similar to how a hornet would. You could also just make this a little bit less durable, or honestly, you could leave its durability kind of how a fireball is and just not have it open up. So the stun effect and little stun shots from hornets aren't nearly as devastating as the flamethrower from a fireball. So really, that one could still have armor, health, and actually take a second to take out. It wouldn't really be too terribly OP, at least not in my opinion. But I think everybody kind of gets the point with a fireball, a flamethrower, switching them from indoors to outdoors, switching their travel mode, stuff like that. It's really not a terrible idea.
Just get the rope back here.
Okay, just random friendly solos. I do have very friendly matchmaking, by the way. But yeah, I actually don't think it's a terrible idea to kind of mix and match different ideas from different arc and different effects from different arc. Like I said, gas effects, stun effects, not just the lightning stun effect from something like a Hornet, but the stun grenade effect from something like the Matriarch. I think more Ark in the future could have those stun grenades. Maybe not the giant ones like what comes out of a matriarch, obviously. That would be a little bit ridiculous. But a smaller version of those that let off a similar flashbang. More flashbang grenades for more Ark. Oh, I'm not even going to exfil. He ain't talking to me, he's talking to them. Oh, shit. This place is just crazy. Oh, well, are you talking to me, homie? Maybe he was talking to me, I don't know. My bad. Doesn't matter. Anyway, yeah, I would love to see more stun grenades and stuff like that. I keep saying stun grenades. I would call those flashbang grenades, and I would call the stun from the Hornet stun. Anyway. God, now I'm just thinking of an Ark having a showstopper grenade. No, don't let Ark start flinging showstopper grenades at it. Oh God, that's a horrible idea. That's a horrible idea. Horribly great. Okay, I'd love it. I'm lying. I would love it. I want the Ark to be very, very difficult. I really do. And one of the other main ideas that I've had that could actually be implemented in a couple of different ways is a repair drone. And if not a repair drone, we have another way we could do something with a very similar effect. So just hear me out and roll with me. I think it would be really cool if we had a repair drone type Ark to where if I come into this building and say somebody has already cleared it out, which kind of looks like they have, there could be a repair drone running through here. And of course, I'm going to stop myself and say we already have Ark respawning in areas after a certain amount of time, but repair drones could also just speed up this process. So it's not completely devoid of purpose, but you could have a repair drone in the process of repairing this downed Ark and bringing it back to life, increasing the spawn rate of Ark throughout the map. So as a way to give the player some consequences for actually shooting at this Ark, I think it would be great to give it a similar effect to a snitch. But not exactly a snitch, more of, let's call it a sentient lure grenade. It wouldn't call in new Ark, but if you aggro this Ark or don't kill it quick enough, it would set off an alarm, bringing in all the other Ark in the surrounding area to your location. Basically, you have to take this thing out quickly if you are gonna take it out, otherwise it's just gonna make your day that much worse. I think that would actually be a really, really good gameplay design, and I think it would actually offer a ton in variety. I think that could lead to a lot of very interesting situations for a lot of people. You end up screwing up with this repair drone, and not only has it repaired 3 Ark before you actually got to it, but it's now retracted those 3 Ark and the 2 Ark that were in the other room that you didn't know about, and now you have 5 Ark on you all of a sudden. All because of this one repair drone. It wasn't actually going to do any damage to you, but it did just ruin your day. I think that would be great. I think that would be a really cool design. If we want to take the repair aspect out, because like I said, Ark do already respawn by themselves, they just bring more in, we could kind of ditch the repair drone idea, and at that point, don't call it a repair drone, just call it a howler. It's kind of a weird name, I guess, but it makes sense. It sets off the alarm to attract all the other Ark in the area. It would set off a loud alarm, I would assume. Call it a howler. And then, on top of this, I do think it would be a good idea to give it a little bit more defensive capability than that. Got it. Anyway, I do think it would be a good idea to give it a few more defensive capabilities. Mainly, I think... Nope. I heard you. You little shit. Come here. Come here. I do think it would be a decent idea to give it a few more defensive capabilities just to make it not, you know, too easy to just see it and just burst it down with DPS. What happened there? Shit, doesn't matter. Anyway. Yeah, no. Anyway, I think it would be a good idea to give that drone a few more defensive capabilities just to stop the player from just DPSing it down every time we see it. This would actually be something from earlier that we talked about, those stun grenades, those flashbang grenades, those gas grenades. A great way to implement those into another arc would be to give them to something like this Howler that I'm talking about. Give it to the Howler can throw a flashbang at you to make it a little bit harder for you to take it out before it gets the alarm off. Obviously, we don't want to make it too difficult. This isn't like something that's just going to screw up your run every time it runs into you. We don't want it to be that bad. But yeah, give it something that it can do utility-wise to try and stop you from just blasting it out of the sky instantaneously every single time. Because, let's be honest, it wouldn't be that hard if it can't shoot you or anything else. Is there just a guy down an extract or something? I have no idea what's going on. But yeah. Give it something like a flashbang, gas grenade, other ways to try and deter the player from just aiming and blasting away. I think these are all great ways to make a well-rounded arc. I actually really enjoy these ideas. If you guys do too, let me know. And maybe we'll come up with a few more ideas. I'm sure I could sit here thinking about different arc and different ways to create them for days on end. Embark, if you see this, I need this repair drone or Howler idea. Make it happen. Y'all can do it. I'm just saying. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. It is very much appreciated. If you do have any ideas yourself for any arc you would like to see added into the game, let me know down in the comments. I would love to hear from you. I am gonna have to get out of here though, because the current arc are about to kick my ass because I'm being stupid and not really paying attention. Woo! Alright. Anyway, hope you guys have a good time. Hope you have a good rest of your day. And I will talk to you guys, next time. Screw you, Hornet. Come here. Get down, bitch. See you guys.